In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emmanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. Appreciate you tuning in today. We're going to be looking at data and maybe we'll get some ideas about how we can get good data from our existing data, how we can build our data lake and access it and get some reasonably valuable information out of what we're doing. So my guest today is Nigel Harman, who's a data-driven strategist and expertise that lies in empowering online businesses through automated data tracking and AI systems. Nigel's innovative approach not only helps organizations achieve ultimate clarity, but also prepares them for scalable growth and successful exits. Nigel, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Well, how in the world did you get on the data side of things in the work that you're doing?
The reason I got into data was because I was actually really bad at it. Not nearly because I was good at anything like that. It was because I was so bad at it that I knew that there had to be an easier way.
I
I
love
knew
it.
I wasn't the only one that suffered from this, and like numbers being thrown at you and just like unorganized spreadsheets and just really tough, time interpreting my numbers. And so I just wanted an easier way for myself to be able to make data-driven decisions. And so I really put it upon myself to make it so that it's easy to understand, easy to read, easy to leverage, right? So
Nice.
That's how I got into it.
I love it. Yeah, that's you solve the problem for yourself and then turn that into a service for other people. That's very organic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. So in this process that we're all experiencing, which is looking to have the AI software take care of things that either we're not good at, we don't want to do, or that we need to happen quicker and more precise. Like one of the first steps is that we have to have good data. We have to know where it is. It has to be accurate. It has to be clean. All those things. So how in the process of creating these data dashboards, how are you helping make sure that it's accurate and clean data?
Yeah, good question. Well, it's really about making sure that everyone is completely on board about how the data is collected, right? That there's no gray area, right? So everything needs to be very black and white.
Yep.
If you leave people to interpret data on their own, then you're going to have different interpretations, right? And that's where a lot of things get fuzzy. And
Okay.
so we need to make sure that everyone is on the same page about how it's being collected, how it's being calculated, and like where it's going to be stored. And then once we actually know, like come up with a definition of what, like, let's say KPIs are, what numbers are, then we just have to do a lot of a stress management. So like stress testing the system, seeing if it actually works, and then making sure that it does. And if it doesn't, then finding out what's broken and then what needs to be fixed, right? So a lot of reiteration, but also a lot of understanding like what we're trying to build ultimately, and what's going to be the easiest and simplest way to build that and to get to the result we're looking for.
All right. And so the work that you're doing with Focus Systems on behalf of your clients, do you have a bunch of standardized products, or are you building one-off solutions for your people?
I mean, both, a little bit of both, because we do have standardized like KPIs and like systems, because every So we build up departments dashboards for
Okay.
like marketing, sales, client success, business financials, fulfillment, things like that. So, and we have standard KPIs and how
Yep.
they're calculated. But a lot of the times we're working with clients, they have maybe different numbers they want tracked. There's a lot of customization that goes into it, especially when you're working with companies that are looking to exit. A lot of different companies, different industries track different things.
Sure.
And even within the different departments, there are different systems that need to be built, right? And different CRMs, different softwares. So there is a lot of customization that goes into it. But there's also we do have templated ways to track like this, most of the numbers for sure.
Right. That's interesting. Um, are you able to help track like a BI or a business intelligence dashboard? Are those part of your products and services also?
Yeah. So as long as there's automations or API integrations and things like that, that makes it much easier for us. And then we actually build like the dashboards on top of that, right? And we can use there's many different tools out there. Really depends on again what the client looks
Yeah.
for. But yes, we'll be building those the dashboards, and then we feed it directly into AI. And then the AI is really where things are amazing, right? Because now you actually have accurate data that knows your business inside and out. And really, like once it's getting fed all that data, like it'll know everything about your business, right? And then it could do so many things: forecast your numbers, it can analyze trends, it could identify top team members, it can identify bottlenecks, constraints in your business, and give you orders of like where you need to focus your attention first, or even like you want to get to an X amount, or you want to exit at this time, what's going to be required in order to get there, right? But it all lives and dies on the data, right? If its data is accurate, if 1+1 = 4, you're screwed,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Well, let's see. I guess what is it? What does it look like for your clients? Are you building them a custom website? Are you putting web pages on their website, or how do we interact with these dashboards that you're creating?
Yeah, a little bit different for each, but for the most part, like some people they want like a Google Looker Studio, for example. That's free, right? It's
Right.
free. You can it connects really well with other Google products, right? Some people want a more like prettier, like user friendly things. There's like Plecto. There's a whole bunch of um, different dashboards, right? And what we do is we build the systems that support the data coming in, and then it goes directly and we feed it into an AI agent like ChatGPT, and then
Yeah.
we build that agent to be kind of like we call it our agent. We call it Navi. So Navi helps navigate you through your business
Right.
ventures, I'd say.
Yeah.
Um, and then essentially from there, you would be either communicate like you can set up the automations. So like, hey Navi, I want you to give me reports every single week on the sales. Now I want reports on these things, and then you can do like monthly meetings. Like, all right, Navi, where are the biggest bottlenecks right now in my business? And this will all be either you can set up through like forms, or you can set up even through like Slack forms, like
Right.
directly in your Slack, which is what we do. And then it will just you communicate through your Slack at that point, right? So depends on your setup.
Yeah. So you're able to turn Slack into a chat bot that can answer all the questions about what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. And we just we want to reduce the amount of softwares that we're using and having
Right.
to deal with. So simplicity is a big thing, just because when it comes to data, like uh, paralysis by analysis is a big thing. Very,
Yep.
very real. Too much data is not a good thing, right? It could be leading to a lot of overwhelm and just confusion. So we want to condense and consolidate all the softwares. If we can just have it only in Slack, that's great. That's what we choose to. But you could send anywhere, email, text, like all these different avenues.
Yeah. So it becomes a team member that's going to be able to answer a lot of questions for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And what size companies are you working with right now?
Our sweet spot is anywhere from 10 to 100 mil annual revenue,
Uh-huh.
just because we also work with an ecosystem of people that are looking to exit in the next 2 to 5 years. I believe right now is a huge transfer of wealth of a
Yep.
lot of people that are looking to retire in the next few years. But, I think only 3% of companies ever exit. And so it's just a huge gap because people have been working for decades and they're just tired and they just want to sell their business and retire and chill. And but a lot of people, like a lot of children, maybe they don't want to run the business anymore. And then
Right.
the owners, they don't really know how to sell the business, never done it before. And so I've never done it personally. So what we do is we have an ecosystem of like 5 partners. They have all sold businesses. What we do in our sliver in the ecosystems, we help with the data. We help with the
Nice.
tracking. We
Yep.
help track everything. We help identify the bottlenecks. Once we identify bottlenecks, then we pass off to our partner and they'll say, hey, let's implement this strategy. Then my team, we track that. And it's like, is it going good? Okay, fantastic. Double down. Or no, okay, we got to change up the strategy, right? So, yeah, 10 to 100 mils are kind of our range.
I got you. And so you're really looking to develop this reporting and these data visualizations with the intent that people are going to be able to support. You're going to support them selling their businesses.
Yeah. It's kind of like, sometimes like some people though, like, oh, I'm thinking about selling my house, let's say, right? And then they like, okay, if I'm gonna sell my house, I gotta clean up. Is that me?
That's okay. Yeah.
So sorry.
That's okay. Yeah.
Oh, I think someone's calling me. Sorry about that. So I was just saying, like, so imagine if you're looking to sell your house, right? First thing you got to do is you got to check if everything's working. Like any leaks, you got to touch up the wall here. You got to clean the fence. You got to do all this repairs, right?
Yep.
And a lot of times, once you make these repairs, you're looking around. You're like, I actually really love it here. I don't even want to sell it anymore. So like, but wouldn't you rather live in a house now after all the repairs have been done compared to prior? Regardless if you're going to sell it or not, aren't you happier that your house is cleaner?
Absolutely. Yep.
It's kind of like that. It's like we build businesses with the intention to sell if they choose to, but it gives them the option to. And a lot of times they're like, oh, it's amazing now. I don't even want to sell anymore. Right. Or maybe I just want to be have shares in the company or just be on the board. Right. So it really depends. Right. But
That's
we
interesting.
do it with that intention.
So what does the tech stack look for you guys right now? What tools are you using that we might have heard of?
So ChatGPT, everyone knows that. Obviously the automations. So Zapier, Make, and then we love oh man, I should know this more. So my partner is the one that actually does all this, the technical stuff. So I'm the wrong person to ask, but he uses really simple stuff, spreadsheets, right? He does create code, so that it makes it a little bit easier. But simple form to a spreadsheet that goes directly into a Google Looker Studio or is sent there through APIs and automations is really what we keep it down to. Like nothing too fancy. Basics and fundamentals, like strong fundamentals is what we stick to. Right. Yeah.
And so the KPIs that you're tracking, like for sales, would be daily sales broken out by SKU, broken out by salesperson, that sort of thing.
Yeah. We work well, like right now we're working with a lot of agencies because that's what the world I come from. So I understand agencies, but a lot of my partners, they work in different industries. So different, like hospitals and e-com and all that stuff. So it's like very, very different. But like if I were talking like from my experience, for like us, we would be tracking all the sales activities through like their setters, their closers, and also like how much cash collected, how much. Big one is like dollar per call. So like if you have closers, how much money do they make on average every time they hop on a call? What is that worth, right? So things like that. So we're just tracking that on a daily basis, and that can either be tracked manually or automated, right? I actually find like a lot of people like the more manual approach for salespeople because it keeps them in tune with their numbers, right? Less room for error as well. Yeah. So one aspect of sales.
I like that. And so then, what else? What else do you see that you're going to be moving into over the next, say, 3 to 6 months? What's kind of on the new horizon for you?
Yeah, just really making like the cool thing as AI is like today is the dumbest the AI will be,
Right.
right? So it's like the more we're able to really shape up these AI agents and feed it more data and help it understand what we're trying to achieve, it gets very exciting, right? It's really cool what the amount of capability possibilities that are going to arise from this new, mine, gold mine, right? Rush,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's really just honing in on the AI agents to not replace necessarily, but really like supercharge productivity,
Yeah.
right? So that's a big one because a lot of and even just helping other companies become that, right? Like I said, there's a big wave of companies that are very successful and they've been around for decades, but they're not modernized, right?
Right. Yep.
And there's so much opportunity of people wanting to get into retirement and opportunities for people that are in the AI age to take those businesses, modernize them, and then now you have like you're buying a business that's already been running and functional, and then you bring it to the modern world. So
Yeah.
I think that's super exciting and something I'm really I'm really looking forward to being further like going further into.
I love that. What do you recommend for, let's say, there's a legacy business, an insurance agency, or a real estate agency, 25 years old? What do you recommend for them to do to prepare in order to be ready to work with your firm?
Mm. So really just making sure that we are tracking things. That's really the first thing because I've had companies where they come in and there's zero tracking, and they're like, "Can you help me track the past 5 years?" Like, no, I can't. Like, sorry.
That ship
So,
sailed. Yeah.
yeah, like that's why it comes very very difficult. Like it, it really it's really important that you just set the foundation properly, right? Even if you're starting a new company, right? Like just track the very basics and own your data because once you own it, then you can use it however you want in the future, right?
Yeah.
Better to own it and not use it than not have it and then like want it, right? So I
Sure.
would just say like very stick to the fundamentals, really track it but track it in a way that is like can be easily read for dashboards
Yeah.
specifically,
So
right?
that would be like a CSV file or an
CSV file.
Airtable, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Those work well. Those work well.
Okay.
So just really basic stuff. Keep that ready to go. And like also like think if you're looking to exit, like just think about would you buy your own business? Like is it actually investable at that point?
Right.
And
Yeah.
if not, like doesn't mean it's over, but it's definitely like it's an eye opener, right? Most companies are not going to be investable right away. That's why we actually want to help you with the due diligence, not only from the buyer's perspective, but also from the investor's perspective to come in and see like let's say an enterprise value dashboard to see if this is actually a business that they would invest in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, know your numbers.
All right. I like it. And if people wanted to get in touch with you and have a conversation, what's the best way to do that, Nigel?
I'm very active on LinkedIn and Facebook, so those are great ways to communicate with me. Just come say hi and love to connect.
All right. Or at Focus Systems, is it .com?
Yeah, focus.systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be we don't do the .com focus because we actually have the dot systems. So
Yeah.
focus.systems would be a good place. Or focus.systems/initiative. That's where you can see a demo about what we do.
Awesome. I love it very much. Well, I appreciate your time this afternoon. And thank you for sharing that information with me.
Thanks so much, Manuel.
All right. And hang out for me while I close up the show, and then we'll say goodbye properly.
Sounds good.
All
Thanks.
right. Thanks, Nigel. Appreciate it. It's an important thing is to be tracking what's happening in the business, what's important, obviously the finance and the sales and marketing, but also your internal processes. And the more you can track and chart out what those systems are, then you have a chance to illustrate them for for knowing where the roadblocks are in your business. You also have a much easier time understanding what can easily be automated. And then you also have the opportunity to generate some reports if you're looking to merge or sell your business. So the data processing is a critical function, and like Nigel said today, having that available in some kind of a spreadsheet or CSV or Airtable makes it much simpler to grab and automate the storytelling. I hope that it's been valuable way to spend some time with the marketing in the age of AI. I hope that you spend some time today finding a new tool to test out, work on getting 5 to 10 hours of your work week back through AI tools, and that you use that time to either continue upskilling yourself, spend it with your friends, your family, or get outside in nature and disconnect. This is Emmanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.